Hello, Connective. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Comment, subscribe, and like without smashing anything, and let's get into this energy. So this is a collective reading for Gemini. Gemini, I did pull cards for you last month when I did everybody else's readings, and a Mogwai took it and ate it after midnight. So that reading is gone. I'm gonna have to do another one here. I've pulled some cards for you before the reading. I've been sitting a little bit in this energy, just getting like the main energy of the reading. Then we're going to pull some like energy cards and maybe get some specifics or some helpful advice from our angels and ancestors. We're going to see what we can get to come out for the, sorry, the sage. See what we can get to come out for the energy oracle cards, and we'll talk about the ones that have come out already for this reading. So I am still using the Akashic cards, the Akashic Tarot. I have already pulled them. My goal was to pull one and have like an overall energy of the reading, and two came out. So one's the overall energy, and then there's like an underlying energy, which are the cards here to my right. And then I also got some, they're like spiritual, I think they're called the spiritual awakening cards. And so again, wanted to pull some overall energy for you on that one. And 3 cards came out, so you have like 2 underlying energies. So we got the hostilities card, Gemini. We'll finish going through this deck, and then we're gonna go ahead and talk about what's here on the table. Oh wow, okay. And then we are gonna pull from a couple more decks. So, oh, okay. All right. So let's talk about what's already come out. Interesting. All right, so the overall energy that came out for the Akashic card was the One of Scrolls, which is on track. It shows like a train, and it's kind of like 2 tracks. There's like a sign, and then you're getting ready to get on one of those trains. So there's more to it than that. I don't want to get too into it, but okay. So also for the spiritual awakening cards, we have the law of emergent evolution. It says make a new declaration for your life. So interestingly enough for me, these 2 cards go together. So we're putting them up here. So that's the overall energy for your reading, Gemini. And then the underlying energies are, you have from the Akashic deck, it's called Intricacies in Industry. It's the 7 of Scrolls. So you have scrolls again. And that's more of like doing things bit by bit, like the time that you put into something, the consistent effort, paying attention to the details as well. And then for the other 2 spiritual awakening cards that came out that were extra for the underlying energy, we have the law of cause and effect. Change your beliefs, change your life. Okay, again, this goes with the cards that are up there, and we'll talk about that. And then we have the law of healing. Transform your trauma, transform your life, right? So you'd say, well, Pam, what do I need to heal from? And I see this hostilities card here on the table with this anxiety. So we also have the 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel. This is our throat. This is you needing to speak up, Gemini. You might be speaking up. We'll talk about the order of these cards in just a second. All right, so then we also have anxiety. We have the anxiety card here. It's probably going to go along with hostilities, right? And then we have the victory card. So we are going to get through this in one piece, if not better than we were. And the sun card, which is always what we're looking for here, right? So those are for the energy cards. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this on track card. Okay, so I've been sitting in this energy for a little bit, and I'm really not getting an indication of what kind of a situation this is. I always say it could be work, love, life. It's most likely a relationship, some type of relationship, family, friends, romantic relationship, but it doesn't have to be. It could literally be about a spiritual awakening. So this on track card is either you moving forward in a direction, you're making a decision to move forward in a direction, okay? this law of emergent evolution card is talking to me about change. So it's either you getting tired of a situation and wanting to make a change, and then you've either been thinking about it for a long time and you're getting ready to make that decision, or you're having trouble making that decision, or you've already made that decision and you're wondering if you've made the right decision. Okay, so whatever the situation is, you could fall into either one of those categories. Both of these cards are saying all that to me and could come together in any mix. Okay. The strongest storyline that I'm getting off of this is that somebody wants change. This law of emergent evolution, make a new declaration for your life. This is kind of like, I am so sick of what's happening around me that I will take anything else, right? And then this card could be like, I don't know which direction I'm supposed to go to change things. I'm kind of, you know, I want to get on this train. I want to get on this train, but I'm not sure. And kind of standing there on the tracks like, the sign's pointing over here, but I think I'm going to go over here kind of energy, okay? It's okay to do that. This is your free will. This is part of your free will. And by the way, it might have something to do with speaking up for yourself. So, the underlying energy for this intricacies in industry. So this may be either you needing to kind of look at the situation. If you're trying to decide where to go on this train, what train to get on, and you're thinking about the situation, take it in little pieces. Don't try to sum up the whole thing and then tell the moral of the story. Look at the little bits and pieces that irritated you. Look at the little bits and pieces that made you happy. Did you get what you wanted out of it? Did you want anything out of it? Had you thought about it? Things like that. Before you move away from something, if you're not sure, look at the situation and see what it is you wanted or what it is you want, so that when you do move, it doesn't matter even what direction that you move in, that you're moving towards what you want, right? And also, you know, if you've already decided, you already know, then this card is basically telling you that as you're moving forward, that as you're trying to make that change, that emergent evolution, that it's going to be bit by bit. It's going to be one step in front of the other. It's not going to be, oh, I made this change and everything is different. It's going to change slowly. It's going to take time. It's going to take for you to be consistent about the change that you want, especially if you're talking about a relationship, because it's not just in you involved, somebody else is involved in this. So, and then of course, so we have the hostilities and the anxiety. So we talked before too about needing to talk. And sometimes that upsets people when we talk, when we, you know, state something that we're uncomfortable with, or something that we need to get off of our chest for whatever other reason. We're choosing that person to talk to, right? So if that person doesn't respond in a way, or, you know, responds with hostility, or, you know, causes us anxiety to want to talk to that person, or when we talk to this person it causes anxiety, then there's a good possibility that you haven't been speaking up enough. If people are sitting around you expecting things to be a certain way, and you're sitting here thinking about making a difference and making a change, you know, in a relationship, are these people coming with you? Are they coming with you? Or do you have to totally decimate your boundaries so that you can stay where you are, so that you can keep getting the same treatment? You're not even on a train at that point, right? The law of emergent evolution, well, there is no emergent and there is no evolution. So this whole thing would be void if that's what you choose to do, right? Meanwhile, we have these laws here. Okay, so this is kind of like the overall energy that's on, you know, in the situation, but this is kind of like what we can use to kind of help us get through the situation. So this law of cause and effect here, a lot of times things are happening around us. People are causing whatever, something that we definitely wouldn't cause or create, and we kind of get caught up in it, kind of like a tornado. And we wonder how other people don't get upset by being pulled in like this, or how come, you know, it seems like there's not more people involved, or when there is more people involved, how come they don't seem to be like, you know, fighting against it like you do? It's coming. Part of it is that you kind of have to think a little bit different. The way you're looking at the situation in some cases might not be Okay, so the law of cause and effect. Let's say you're in a fight with someone and you don't like the way they're talking to you. Let's just say that nothing physical has happened, but you don't like the way they're talking to you, to the point where you're kind of like, you know, this person keeps talking to me like that, I'm just not going to talk to them anymore, right? And it could be something as simple as that. It doesn't have to be a giant fight. It doesn't have to be this ongoing thing. Sometimes people just make a decision that they're not going to waste time with people who don't want to treat them in a way they want to be treated. And that includes picking how you're going to talk to somebody, especially if you give other people the respect that everyone deserves, but you're not getting it, right? It gets to the point where you don't even want to deal with people anymore, but you kind of want to give them a chance. You kind of want to make, you know, excuses or say, you know, well, maybe next time it won't be this way. Well, let's just say you just decide, well, I'm just going to stop talking to this person. I don't even care how they talk to me or whatever happens anymore. I'm done. Our talks aren't productive. We don't talk about anything important. This person doesn't contribute anything in my life. I'm just going to stop talking to them, right? How long do you think it's going to take that person to realize that you're out of their life? You've asked yourself out. How long do you think that it's going to take for them to realize that, whether or not they regret that? Because if they don't regret it, then I don't know why you're worried about it. And if it takes you to remove yourself or to stop talking to them for them to regret it, then again, this is the law of cause and effect. This is what we're talking about. If we are not stating, if we're not like claiming our sovereignty, if we're not stating our goals, if we're not putting our foot down on how we want to be treated, then we're using the law of cause and effect against us. We're basically telling the universe that it's okay for things to be the way they are and for them to keep going in that direction because it's okay. There's no action that is happening that is telling the universe anything different. So again, you need to use the law of cause and effect if you want to get out of this. I mean, even just stepping on the train, even just not even saying goodbye to anybody and just stepping on a train is the law of cause and effect if you want to move, right? That's the reason why it's such a hard decision to make, because we feel like if we get on the wrong train, we're going to end up in the wrong country, right? Even though the thing is land-bound. We're just going to be somewhere completely across the water because we got on the wrong train. And we've talked before in this channel about how that's not really a thing. You don't really get off track. I mean, you can make different decisions and maybe get looped around to another cause that, you know, but a lot of times that has to do too with what we're avoiding, you know, or what we do not see at the time, which is also fine. If I met you in the beginning of your spiritual awakening and I told you what you were going to be doing at the end of your spiritual awakening and the whole thing was about evolution, you'd walk away. You'd be like, no, I'm not doing that, right? It would just seem too much to do to get from here to there. Meanwhile, you were on that trek anyway. I just scared you, right? And then you have the law of healing. You cannot move forward without healing. Not in this situation. I don't care if it is work. A lot of times these situations that come up because it's something that we need to deal with, and they can come up at work. If we don't deal with it at home, again, we're telling the universe that it's okay. This keeps happening, and the universe is going to keep sending you, you know, opportunities for you to heal. And it'll be just relationship after relationship after relationship that you have to heal from until you get it. That's just getting out of it. Once you get out of it, you still have to do bit by bit to get where you want to go in your evolution. That's a lot of work if you're fighting it. If you already know that you want to talk and you can't, that's going to hold you back just a little bit from your victory and your sun. Just a little bit. I want to see what Alice has to say, and then we'll pull the moons. We'll see what other signs might be involved in this reading with you, Gemini. And there will be an extended for this. We're going to pull a couple cards in the extended, including the blind spot, see what's keeping us from either seeing what we need to do or getting to where we need to go in this particular situation. I'm looking for 3 cards from this deck. Let's see what we get. So the hostilities is here. Hostilities, I always try to make it, it's not that bad. And it always literally is hostility. It's just some form of hostility. And especially if it's causing us anxiety. If it wasn't that bad, we wouldn't be worried about it, right? We wouldn't worry about it before or after the fact. It doesn't have to be that severe. Even if we're used to something that's more severe and this isn't as bad as that, it doesn't really matter. It's just another test. Oh, okay, is this soul going to put up with this, or are they going to go ahead and evolve, as we talked about? They're trying to move forward. You're trying to move forward. Are we hiding? Are we running away with our fear? Look at this. All right, so I got 4 cards. This one was hiding. What was hiding? Follow your own good advice. Interesting, right? Follow your own good advice. If those of you who are having indecision about what train to step on, you already know where you want to go. And those of you who are not sure if you're going to be able to move forward, the answer is yes. And that's what I consider to be like the Scorpio card, this mortality card. It's going to end. It's one of those things, or it's going to end regardless of whether or not you want to help it along. I mean, you know, if you want to stand on, you know, the platform, you know, eventually a train will pull away. You'll get the other train. A decision will be made for you. Something will happen. And then we can't go back to yesterday. So you can't go back to yesterday. Usually that's nostalgia. Usually that comes from the anxiety, their fear of moving forward. Once we figure out what we have to do, we get a little scared. We want to just kind of sit where we are, right? And again, the law of cause and effect. If we sit where we are, we're going to get what we've been getting. So there's that. Also that law of healing. We could just heal. We could sit where we are and heal, and we'd be better off, right? And then we have forget who you are, which is usually like deconditioning. It's usually somebody put an idea in your head. I was talking to a friend the other day. She's not a Gemini, but she was talking about how when something happens that she feels like it's her fault, you know? And I was kind of like, that's a whole different subject. Like the one subject that we're talking about is a subject, and then you feeling like it's your fault is a totally different subject. That's conditioning. You may have conditioned yourself, but most likely somebody kind of told you, like whenever there was like a you know, fight or a disagreement, that it was your fault, or something happened, it was your fault, kind of a thing. You need to stop playing that recording. That's not you. Don't perpetuate other people's mistakes by prolonging the things that they say to you that aren't true. These are the things that are designed to make you feel a certain way so that you don't evolve and you don't move forward, right? Even if you were evolving and moving forward, they want you to feel like you're not on track, right? We go into all the reasons all the time why people behave that way, when they don't want you to like succeed, or they don't want you to get better, or they don't want you to, you know, rise. And we could talk about it here, but it doesn't really matter. Like I said, a situation for family, friends, you know, romantic relationship, work, it doesn't matter. It's everybody knows what it is that we're talking about if this reading resonates with you. Go into specifics, but it doesn't really help anything. And it doesn't, going over the specifics in our head doesn't move us anywhere closer to our victory or to the sun that we're trying to go for. We're better off forgetting that, you know, what we were told by these people, and then just looking at the situation for how it is, for what it was. Especially when you find out, you know, that they're on a different train. Like, why would I need to listen to you? Like, I get it if I am looking out for myself and I want to see if, you know, a good friend is trying to check me and tell me that I'm not, you know, doing what I need to be doing as a friend or a human being or as a mom or whatever is going on. But if the conversation is just designed to hurt me, if it's unproductive, then it really doesn't matter what that person says. I'm going to have to go back through every conversation, especially if I'm betrayed, right? I'm going to have to figure out if this person was ever telling me the truth. Got these hostilities here, anxieties being created. We either can't speak or someone's talking too much. Right? We have an ending looming over our head. And then we're at a point where we need to be like deprogrammed. That's that law of healing too, by the way. Even if we didn't want to do that, we're just going to pull this. This deck is being a pull from the bottom. Okay. So for those of you who are on a spiritual awakening, this new moon in Pisces, there might be a Pisces involved. It says attuned to the divine. So you can ask for help. I mean, you can always ask for help anyway. But, you know, in this situation, you know, if this is your reading, you know, you're being told to kind of, you know, to connect, to listen, to accept whatever's information is coming at you. And then you have first quarter moon in Cancer, so that was the new moon. And then we have first quarter moon in Cancer, push through any insecurities. So there might be a Cancer involved with you, right? This is part of this too, about moving forward and like trying to go back to yesterday, the anxiety that you have to keep moving forward. I mean, that's where you want to go anyway, right? You don't get, if you got on a train and it started moving backwards, wouldn't you be confused? And then you have new moon in Capricorn, step up and lead. And this is that card that comes out when you know something's wrong and the people around you don't know something's wrong, and you're the one that has to affect the change. So whatever that change is for you, it's going to be something different for everybody. For some people, it's going to be extreme, and then for some people it's going to be a minor change that needs to happen. You know what it is. But if you're being met with hostilities, if it's causing you anxiety, then I would say to take these baby steps and just kind of plan what you're going to do. It can be an exit, it could be moving forward, it could be just a change of direction, right? It could just be, well, I'm just going to move upward, I'm going to go upward, and cards that don't want to be picked up. Really doesn't want to be picked up. Okay, so we're just going to move upward, right? And nobody's going to stop us. If you stand in front of a train, are you going to stop it? Somebody on that train is going to need to want to stop it if you stand in front of that train. So, Gemini, I hope this helped. I'm going to pull some more cards in the extended, including the blind spot, and just a couple more cards to kind of give you some more support in this particular situation. The main things that you have to remember are, if you're going somewhere, if you're going anywhere, if you're trying to move, that forward motion is something that you need to create, you need to dream up, you need to execute. And it doesn't matter what direction you're walking in, you're always on track. And remember, it's going to be bit by bit, little by little. You're going to strengthen it as you go. It's going to be, the work that you put into it. It's going to be you paying attention to the details. And then you have cause and effect. Whatever you do, something's going to come back. It's, pay attention to what you're putting out there, right? Including the details. Pay attention to what you're putting out there. If somebody else is putting something out there towards you, see that as well. See the bigger picture. See what might be coming back to them. As you're dealing with people in a situation, don't assume that it's you that always gets the karma. Other people do too. And you have this law of healing. Not a lot of people want to heal. If you want to heal, you're going to get through it more unscathed anyway. It would be a victory no matter what, even if the sun wasn't coming, right? So meet us over at the extended, Gemini. If this is your reading, we'll talk more about it, see what our blind spot is. And if not, until we meet again.